Hello, welcome here. My name is Philip, and in this video I will show you how you can integrate ChatGPT with Next.js application. Let's begin. This tutorial is code along, so I highly encourage you to code along with me. Let's set up the project first. You can find the link to GitHub repository in the description. Open the link. You can either clone the repository or you can download a zip file, open the zip file, and set up the project. After that, open your terminal, install dependencies with npm install, and then just simply run npm run dev to start up the development server and open project on localhost 3000. And here we are. That's localhost 3000. That's our application we are going to work on. Now I will provide you a little bit of overview what we are going to build. As you see here, everything is hard-coded. We have here one text area where we can write. Then we have here a submit button, and then we have a messages. Currently just hard-coded messages. They should be actually in a different order. First should be human and then should be AI, but never mind. So what is the idea? Idea is to write here some question for ChatGPT, right? So for example, what is Next.js? What is Next.js? You'll write it into text area, and it will send it to our API route on our localhost 3000. Okay, so we'll make it simply a request to the API route. Okay, so here we'll have an API route. Okay, on our API route, we will integrate ChatGPT because ChatGPT is used for server-side integration. So here we'll integrate ChatGPT model. Okay, ChatGPT model. Okay, so on our client application, we will write a text, what is Next.js. This text will send in the request. We'll send the request to the API route. An API route will forward what is Next.js question to the ChatGPT. ChatGPT will provide answer, so there will be some response here from the ChatGPT. For example, it will respond Next.js is React or is a JavaScript framework, and so on. Okay, so just simply some ChatGPT will respond with some response. Okay, this response will be forwarded back to the API route, and then it will be forwarded back to our client-side application. Okay, so back to our applications here. Okay, here is our client application. And here response this answer Next.js is framework will be provided back to clients, and we will display this as the message you can see here. Okay, so this question first will be displayed as our message. So here will be our message. So our question, what is Next.js? What is Next.js? And under this, Next.js JavaScript framework, what we got from the ChatGPT, will be provided straight under it. Okay, not very visible, but you got the point. Okay, so Next.js. Okay, so it's very straightforward. Get the value from the text area, forward a value to the API route, provide this value, what is Next.js, to the ChatGPT, get the answer from the ChatGPT, forward this answer back to the clients, and display both the question and both the answer. That's it. Okay. The layout you have prepared, now we can open the coding editor or the applications, and the layout is in index.js. It's a very simple one. We have just this text area, then we have a button for submission, and then we have answers, which will answers actually the question from human. It should be the other way around. So I will just I can get this div, I can copy it, remove it, and I can provide it in the front of this answer. Okay, so we'll get it in this order here. Okay, so you can see answer, hard-coded one from human, hard-coded answer from AI. And let's begin coding. So first, we need to get a value from the text area, so we'll be writing here. I would like to store this value somewhere, and for this we will of course use a state. So I will write here under home here, const square brackets, and use state. We'll initialize here empty string state, so the default value will be empty string, and we'll call this state, so the value that we'll be storing here into this text area we'll call prompt. So this, I will call it prompt, and the function to store the prompt value I will call set prompt. Now I have the value, I have a function to store the value. So when I will, here in the text area, I will move the placeholder here, and the rows I will place here, so it's easier to read. I'll provide here onChange event handler. OnChange function will be executed whenever we'll be writing into the text area. The value from the text area we can get from the event, which is passed as a parameter to this function. Now we can simply store the value. It will be the set prompt function, and value will be, as I told you, from the event.target.value. This will get you value to this state. Now we will forward this value back to the text area. So we'll write here value, and we'll store the value of the prompt, so we can backfeed it to the text area. To see that we are storing value, we will just above the text area, we'll write here curly brackets, and here we'll write a prompt. So we can see that we are getting this value stored. Okay, so let's save this. Let's get back here. I'll write a question: what is Next.js? And you can see this value we are getting up here, which is perfect. Okay, we got the value, amazing. Now we need to send this value to the API route. So prepare here a function to send this value. How we're gonna call this? Okay, so naming issues. How are we gonna call this function? We can call it handle submit. Nothing better comes to my mind. I'm kind of under pressure right now while I'm recording the video. So let's call it handle submit. Okay. Of course, you can call it whatever you want. Get answer from ChatGPT, or a send question to ChatGPT, or you can call it whatever. I'll call it just handle submit. Very generic one. You can rename it as you want. This function you want to execute when you click on the button. So when you scroll down here, here's a button. Okay, I'll just move it again like this. And to handle the click of the button, we just simply provide here on click. And on click, we want to call our function handle submit. Handle submit. Amazing. Now handle submit, we will just for now, to see that it's called, we provide the alert here, just alert here, for example, a question. How alert here prompt. Okay. Now store this one. Now submit what is Next.js, and you can see what is Next.js. Amazing. Good practice would be, if you are submitting the question, it would be good also to clear it out. So let's clear out the value. We can simply handle submit. After we'll display the value, after alert, we'll call set prompt, and we'll send it to the empty value back like this. Okay, so we can try it out. So what is Next.js? What is Next.js? Submit this, and yeah, we are getting this cleared out. After I will press OK, the question has been cleared out. Amazing. Now I need to send a request to the server. So what we are going to do? To send the value to the server, we need to use either Axios, which is third-party package, to send send a request to the internet, or we can use the native function called fetch. Fetch function you have also available in the browser. So when you will right-click here in the browser, you will click inspect. You will go to your console here. You can simply write your fetch, and you can see it's natively available, fetch function. So let's forward this forward. Let's call the fetch. Okay, simply call a fetch. Okay. Do we have any API route? In the default Next.js application, in the API folder, you have currently created hello.js, which is your API route, the basic one. When you open it, hello.js is just returning the response with the name John Doe. To test it out, you can also just go to browser. You can go to localhost 3000, I will open a new tab, to API/hello, and you will see name John Doe. So that's API route. And here you can basically do the stuff server side in the hello.js, and you can get it back to your page, which is index.js. So we are going to call it just to test it out. We need to mark it as async, because this will be asynchronous call, and we'll here await fetch to synchronize it, and we'll make a request. We should be calling, as you saw, HTTP localhost 3000 /API/hello. You can omit this part, localhost 3000, because that's automatically provided since we are already on localhost. So yeah, we just write here /API/hello request like this, and method. I think it's already specified the default method. This is a get method. We are not sending any data. We're just asking for the response from the server. This is usually get method. So method get. Okay, and to see that we are getting response, here const response, and this response you can just console log it out here like a response.json. Okay, save it, back to browser. Here we can test it out, so just write here some question, doesn't really matter what is Next.js, submit, and okay, and you should see here, actually you see here JSON function, my mistake, you need to call this response, this also asynchronous, so to get the JSON data, I'll add here just a const JSON equal a response await, because it's asynchronous, it returns promise or response dot JSON like this, and just console log here now this JSON this way. Okay, save it up. Back here, refresh, and now hi there. That doesn't matter what I'm writing here. And here is the name John Doe, so that's what we are getting. And in network tab, you should see here. Actually, I can clear it out. Network clear it out. Write here any questions. Write here nothing. You just submit, and you will see that you are making the request to this localhost 3000/API/hello, and as the response, you're getting this JSON data name John Doe. Amazing. So what we want to do now, as I mentioned in the diagram, we want to get a value from our prompt we are writing here, and we would like to forward it to our API route, right? To API route. So yeah, let's do it. Okay. Since we are sending a value to the API route, this will be not any longer a get request, but this will be post. And we will not call it API/hello, but we will call it completion, because the API which we'll be using later in a ChatGPT is called completion API. Basically, you ask the question ChatGPT, and ChatGPT will provide you completion. Okay, so we'll call it API/completion. And this way we need to also rename this API page. So pages API hello.js has to be renamed to completion. So rename it to completion, like this. After renaming, you can also test get, and you can test it out if it's worked for you. So just test it out. I will just go straight with the post. I'll provide a method like this on the new line, so it's nice, clear. Now, you'll be sending our data, but before that, we need to specify also headers. When we want to send the data to the server, we need to provide in what format we are sending the data, and that's why we need to provide the headers in the request. And this will be content type. So content dash type, and we are saying we are sending application JSON data like this. Okay, now let's send this JSON data. So this will be under headers, and you are sending the data as a body in the request. So we'll write a body, and the body will be need to stringify the data. So you cannot send the raw object. So we'll write a JSON to stringify, and we'll provide here data of the prompt like this. Okay, it will be our prompt data. Let's remove the alert. We don't need the alert any longer, so let's remove alert. Let's save it like this. And to verify that we are getting this data now, we need to go to the server, to the API route, and we need to retrieve the data. First, we need to handle the method is post. Okay, so go to the completion.js now. We can remove this one. And in the request, we can write the if statement, and we can check if the request method is post, what we are sending. And we are sending request method post, right? So let's write the request. Method is equal to post. So in this if block, we'll be handling post request, which this is the only request we are sending, but also handle other cases. So for example, if the user will send get request or put request to our API route, API completion, let's handle it in some manner. Just return here return response dot status, let's say 500, and let's write here JSON, and provide here JSON with the error and like this message, and let's write here invalid API route like this. Okay, so in the case users will be sending different requests as post request, they'll be handling it with this data. We'll be sending it back to the clients with the status 500, and error, which is an object with a message, which is invalid API route. Okay, pretty happy with this. And now let's handle the pause. So finally, when we are sending this request, we are going to the if block here and to get the data now. To get the data, you can get it like this. Let's write a const prompt and we'll get a prompt from the request dot body. Remember here, or notice this. In sending data, we are specifying here body, and this body we can retrieve in a completion here. So request body, and we are asking for the prompt data. A user can provide invalid data. So for example, a user can provide a null or undefined data. So to handle this option, I'll write here fallback option like this, or operator, and I will provide here empty string. What this does simply is when this prompt here will be undefined or null, I will not assign undefined or null here because this is invalid data. I will go with the fallback option, which is this empty string, and I will assign empty string to the prompt. So if the data I'm sending to the server are undefined or null, go with this fallback option, which is empty string. Okay, so we are handling this. And finally, let's console log it out. So we are seeing that we are getting some data. Okay, just console log out prompt and return the response back to the client. So write the return response.status success and a JSON. Provide here JSON with the result, and result will be okay. Okay, so let's save it now and let's verify if it works. So go back to browser, refresh, and let's see network tab. Okay, network, and let's write here what is Next.js. Submit. You will see the request went okay. So we send here headers in the payload, so that the data we are sending this prompt, what is Next.js, and we are getting a response. In the response tab, you can see a result okay. And this console log, what you see here, console log prompt, you should see in your terminal, because in a console you're seeing your client-side code. The result okay coming from our client-side code, which is index.js here, this console log of the JSON down here. And the completion here is an API route, that's our server-side code, which you can console logs you can see in your terminal. So in the terminal, when you notice here, actually I just removed it, I will send the request one more time. Submit. You will see this in the terminal here. What is Next.js? Okay, so this we have completed as well. What will happen when I will send the invalid data, or not invalid data, but like data like this? I'll write here in our text area space. What is Next.js? Space. Submit. So basically now I'm sending this data with all these spaces, you can see. Space. So to prevent this, in our index.js, the data we will be sending here, I will be trimming them. So I will trim the white spaces in the beginning of the text and the end of the text. So I will, in the JSON stringify, as I'm providing prompt data, I'll provide here a prompt.trim. This will trim out the white spaces from the string. So like this, save this, and now I will be sending like this as before, space, submit. In the terminal, you should see now it's trimmed out. Perfect. What about when I'm sending empty string? Should we handle this case when I'm sending like empty string like this, submit? You see, I'm sending the data, but we shouldn't process empty strings as well, so handle this also. On our server side, in completion.js, here I will write the if statement, and I just simply write here if a prompt. Also, let's trim it here just in case, trim. So we'll remove the white spaces, and the length of this is this string is 0. This means we are sending empty string, and let's handle it. I will return this response status. I'll add here 400 for invalid data, and message will be provide prompt value. Okay, so in the case we are providing empty strings, we'll handle it this way here. Let's save it, and we should maybe get some issues now. So let's refresh the browser. So we will clear out the console. We can also check the network. We can clear out the network as well, and just click here submit with the empty data. Okay, so submit empty data, and you will see here completion failed for 100. We got here error message provide prompt value, which is great. that's what we handle on the server, right? And that's what we are sending back to the clients. In the console, we are getting post, bad request, and this error. Yeah, that's great. Perfect. Okay. Now I want to get some a response from the server. So what's happening currently? What we have from the client, we are sending to the API route. API from to the API we are sending our question. So we are sending here a question. Now we want to get from the API answer, and ideally I want to get an answer from ChatGPT. But for now, to not use just GPT, but test it out without, we will just hardcode some answer. We just hardcode something like Next.js is blah blah blah, and we will send it back to the client. Okay, so next 3 dots. So we'll get the answer. Okay, so let's hardcode this answer. Now we can call it a response or result or something. So in the completion.js, I will simply hardcode here this. So const answer or a result or response, whatever. And what's Next.js? Actually, I will copy just something from the browser. I will go here. Next, what is Next.js? Okay, Wikipedia, we'll use it, or here maybe on the official website. Yeah, let's copy this one, this text here. Okay, let's copy the text. And let's go to the coding editor, and here we just paste it into the string. We have here multi-lines. You can see not everything is handled as a string, so we need to remove the empty lines and provide it as the one string. So like this, remove this line, remove this line. Okay, and verify this is correct. So let's verify this one-liner here. It should be fine. Okay, so we have this long one line of text. You can console log out, you can remove, and we will provide this result here. Okay, and instead of okay, we'll provide here result. Okay. Now, please save this, go index.js, and we are getting a JSON data, console log JSON, all good. So yeah, let's save this and let's see if we are getting this hard-coded answer. Okay, what is Next.js? Submit, and here is the result. So that's we are getting the result back. That's what we want to see. You can see it's in this format of object where the key is the result. That's what we are. That's how we are formatting this response on the server. You can see result this key. So to get the raw string back or display in a console raw string, just we need to write your JSON to the result. Okay, and now when you will send here what is Next.js or anything, because we are hard coding the answer always to be the same, submit. Here is just a string. What will happen when I will send the empty string? Submit, and we're getting undefined here. So because we are handling this differently. When we are getting error, we are handling differently because that's the response. We are returning error with a message. That's why you see it undefined. So to handle this case, we can go to index.js, and to verify that the response status is okay and we got the answer from our server, we can do the following. Here under the response, we can write the if statement, and we can check if the response is okay. So the status with the response is 200. Then get me this. Actually, we can do it like this. All right, and here we'll console log the results. In any other case, let's write here else console.log, and we'll get here JSON.error like this. I think that should work. So let's save this. So let's refresh here, and let's get here some question. Doesn't matter, just random text. Submit. We're getting the answer, and we'll send the empty string now. Submit. We are getting here this message, provide prompt value. We can also write it like this. JSON error.message. And to be safe, because maybe the data we are getting from the server will be not actually in the format of the error and message, like you see here, maybe for some reason we'll have differently formatted data, we can use here a save operator, so question mark in front of the dot and question mark in front of the dot, so we won't get here any issues. And instead of the console log, we can write here console log warn, like this. So now when you will send here some good question or provide a value, and we will get a response. Everything's fine. We are getting the response here. But when we will get here empty string and submit, we will get here this warning, provide prompt value. Okay, so we got this. Amazing. Now, since we have an answer and we have a question, so my question is what we are sending to the server, that's our prompt, and we have an answer, which we have a JSON result. So we have a question and we have an answer. We can display them as the messages, right? In our AI, question and answer. Currently, these messages are hard-coded. That's these values here, human and AI. So to not hard-code them, let's do it like this. Let's create here a state for these messages, answer, whatever you want to call it. Value const, square brackets, use state again. We'll provide here empty array, not a string, because we'll be keeping this as the array of the messages. And here we'll set messages and set messages. And the format of the messages will be something like this. We'll show very quickly. Messages will be array of objects. That's what I can tell you. Array of objects, where we'll have, I think, text. That will be variable value of what we are asking or what we got as the answer. So, for example, what is Next.js? What is? Okay, so some question. Then every message will have also ID, which will be some identifier, treat to be the blah blah blah. Some identifier. Actually, it will be time, but it's later. And also, who is the author of the message? Author. Author it can be either AI, or author can be also human. Author will be human when this message will be question. When the message will be answer, the author will be AI. Okay. So let's get these messages done here. So before we'll get the response from the server. So before we'll send the request to the server and we'll get our answer, we will store our message we are asking in the messages array in our state. So let's do it here. Before response, we will write here set messages. We will to preserve also if we have some previous messages. So we are asking fifth question or sixth question. So we already have the messages in the array. We don't want to override them. We want to get them to the state. So we'll destructurize them and provide them back to the state, and then we will provide our new message in the curly brackets, which is object. Okay, so to preserve the old messages, we will destructurize them in the array, and we'll provide our new message, which is object with the, as I mentioned, text. Text in this case is our prompt data, which we can also trim here. Okay, and then ID. Okay, so provide your ID. And ID will be this identifier, and as an identifier, we'll want to use the date. So to get a current date, you can just get a new date to ISO string or to ISO string like this, and this will get you we can use this as an identifier for the message. Okay, yeah, let's get it done. So let's write here a new date and to ISO string like this. Okay. Text ID and the author of the message, author, and this is of course human. These are questions, so we'll call it human. And similarly, after we'll get a response, which is currently hard-coded one from the server, we'll set the response. So we'll call here set messages, right? We will get a response, okay, and the text will be JSON result. So that's our message from the server. JSON result. ID, we can generate a new ID, and author will be AI. Now, to get these messages displayed, we will go down into JSX here. We have two answers here currently, right? So here is the one answer. Here is the second one. Now we don't want to get them hard-coded as we're seeing it right now, but we want to iterate through our messages array and display this in iteration. So I'll remove the first message for the answer. So I can keep the template of our message here, and I will just simply, above that, I will write the curly brackets. Just before that, I will create the curly brackets, and here we'll iterate our messages from the array. So write your messages dot map. We'll iterate through the array with the map function, In the map, we will get single message from the array like this and arrow function, and we will return here our answer. So this div answer. We'll copy this div, copy it, remove it, and let's provide it here, back here like this. Do not worry about these red lines here, okay? The red lines are appearing here because we need to provide ID. Whenever you are iterating the data in JSX, you need to provide key prop, and the key prop needs to be something unique, some unique data, which of course we are keeping here our IDs on the messages, so we can just simply provide down here in a key message .id like this, which now error disappears. Okay, now of course this human here is hard coded, so to get the value for what is the author of the message, we'll remove the value. We'll keep here this column and write here curly brackets, and it will be message.author like this. And the message itself, we'll remove it, curly brackets, and it will be message.text. Okay, so that's the messages we are creating up here. See, we have here text, which is providing author and ID, right? We provide that as a key. So we got everything, perfect. Now, problem with this will be following. When I will save this now, and by the default, we don't have any messages, of course, because we don't got any. We need to write a question, which will add a message, then we get a response, which will display message. But when I will write here a question, what is Next.js? You will see it for a short time, but it will shortly after it will get overridden by the last AI message. So what is happening here currently when we are setting the state here in one function? This will set the messages. Okay, this will set our message where we are author humans, right? And our question, what is Next.js? This will be displayed for a short second. For a split of a second, it will be displayed because we will change the state of our component. It will display the new messages in the JSX. But shortly after that, the set messages here is called as well. Okay, but this one here, these messages what we are getting here are still old data, not the new data where we have a new message from the human, which we stored just up here. We don't get it here in messages. We got only all our old array here, and we'll write our AI message there. So, and that will be the latest state that we will store. The human message will be not stored at all. That usually happens when you are trying to set a state like this, what I'm doing right now in one function. One state will get overridden by the other one. And to fix this, you could optionally create here like this new messages array like this, new messages. Push into this array this message here from the human. Then push the message there from the AI. And in the end of this, you just simply get these new messages. Oh, actually like this. Set messages, you will push here. You'll get here old messages, and you will store here new messages, right? So here you would just simply push here your new message. What you have here is object. You would push it here. And the same thing you would do down here. Down here. You will do the same thing. So you will push the message there, and you will set messages only once here. That's a good approach. Yeah, it should work. But I will do it differently. Very simple fix. To get always the new state from state, there are messages. You can just simply, to set messages, you can provide an arrow function. You will provide basically function into set messages, and this function will get you the latest state of the messages. So we'll get the messages here, like these messages plural. So now these messages, what I'm getting here, are not these messages, but there are messages, the latest one, what are getting passed by the React here, the latest state I'm getting passed here. Of course, that's the messages from the state, but this time, when I run a callback function, that's the correct value of our last state. I'm not overriding one value by the another one, so I will get here always the latest state in the callback function, not as previously. So just simply provide your callback function, which will return the new state. Okay, so that's a function that you can pass to your set messages. Simply function that returns new state, and in the parameter of the function here, you will get your old state. Okay. Currently, maybe it's confusing because I'm calling it messages, and also we have got messages up here. We can call it simply new messages like this. And here I will get the new messages like this, and yeah, this same thing. I will just call it messages. Okay, and the same thing you will do down here. Okay, positive callback function, messages. Now it should be fine. Save it. Okay, what is Next.js? Okay, and we'll get here answer human and AI. Perfect. Now we're getting what we want, but you can see the color of the human and AI is same, and we would like to have a green color for AI. So this is simple to handle because, as you will see, your message is down here. You are getting here class name, the author human class. When we will change it to the author AI, the different color is provided to this class. So author AI, when I will save this, we'll have this green color. Now we just need to provide it dynamically. So basically this value, human or AI, can replace by the value of the message author, because message author is either human or AI, right? So down here in the class name, just wrap the class name in a curly bracket so we can provide your value from the variable. We'll remove the normal quotation signs. We'll replace them by the backticks like this. All right, and we'll replace the human here, dollars and curly brackets, by message.author. Author like this. Let's save this back here. And what is Next.js? Submit, and you're getting here human and answer from AI. Perfect. Okay, and now I would like to handle small user experience. I would like to get the answer from the AI written, like in a type of writer. So I will not get immediately the entire text back displayed, but I will get it letter by letter. So it's create this typewriter effect. So I will get basically like this. Next.js, and it will be written like let's say every 10 milliseconds or every 50 milliseconds, the new letter will be added, and this will create this typewriter effect. So the letters will appear as they are typed by somebody, and this will create a better effect, better user experience, that they are writing with something which is more human-like, I would say. But yeah, so this typewriter effect I would like to create now. To simplify things, we will move the message here, this entire div, into its separate component. Usually I would create a new file for the component. Right now we want to keep the thing simple. I will scroll on top of this file, and I will write here a new arrow function or function component like this. Function message like this. Return some JSX. The JSX will be returning will be from down here. This will be the message here. So this entire div, I will copy this entire div, scroll on top of the file, and here I will just simply return this entire div. I will just format it correctly. Okay, we don't have here message values, so we will pass it to the props. Just simply destructurize curly brackets and get here a message like this. Okay. We are calling message and message here the same, which is kinda weird. You can call it message item. Okay, just to keep it different. Okay, message item. Now we'll go down here, and instead of this entire div, I can remove it completely. I can just write here message item, and the value of the prop will be message, and message will be the message we are getting from iteration up here. It's complaining because you need to provide now key prop here, so here will be key and message with ID, and we can move it like this: key, message, and here. Perfect. Now up here, we don't need key here because you're already providing it. You need to provide only the most parent element when you're iterating items. So here it would be redundant, so we can remove it. Amazing. Let's verify it works as before. Refresh. What is next? Submit. And yeah, we got the same answer. So now we would like to get this answer written on a typewriter. Like what we are going to do, I will show you. In the message item, I will create a new state. I'll write here const, square brackets. I'll call it, I'll first write here use state, initialize to the empty string like this. I will call this state text, and value to set the text, set text. And as a message text, we will be displaying message text, which I will display just a text, which is the value from the state, right? So this text here will display here, and this text is always empty right now. Okay, empty string. So it doesn't matter what I will now write. I will get always empty strings. So when I will save this, I'll get back. I'll write here hello Suddenly I'll get here empty values because that's the values I'm providing from the state now. But what I want to do, I'm getting this. I have this text which is empty string, right? Initially, that's what I'm displaying. But in the properties here, in the props, I'm getting the message where I have a text which is the real value. So value like, for example, Next.js is something, blah, 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 enter answer. This text is empty string. The message text is this value. And what I want to do is to copy the value from here into the empty. And I want to copy it letter by letter. So I'll get the next n first. So I will get the n and I will copy it into this empty array, empty string. So I will get the value n. Then after some time, after 50 milliseconds or 10 milliseconds, I would like to get this chunk, ne. So I'll get here ne. Then after 50 milliseconds, I would like to get the next letter, nex. I'll get this chunk and I will display this chunk. Then next, and I will display this chunk. And I'll be storing it to the state. And as I will be storing to the state, I'll be displaying it at the same time here. Okay, that's the property of the component. When you're changing the state, the component is getting rendered and you're displaying the new state. So I want to do it. How can we do it? For this, we will use here, use effect. And this effect is called whenever your state is changing. So it will be reacting to the state changes. So like this use effect. In use effect, we want to use here set timeout. Set timeout like this. Set timeout will be called after some time interval. So to set timeout, we'll provide a callback function, just arrow function, which will be called after some time interval, like this. That's the arrow function, and a second value, comma here, after which interval will be called time in milliseconds. So let's say each 50 milliseconds, the callback function instead of the set timeout will be called. Okay, this is time in milliseconds, which is 50 milliseconds. 1000 milliseconds would be 1 second, which would be very slow. So let's keep here 50 milliseconds. Okay, when we got this, we can start copying the text from the message into text, letter by letter or by slice by slice, I should say. So to do it, we need to of course set this text here state. So I will call here set text. We will start slicing our text we are getting here. So I'll write here message dot text dot slice. Okay, I need to slice it. Okay, I need to slice it character by character. We'll start at the index 0, and we'll start slicing from the length of our text, which is the empty string. So I'll write here text length plus 1. Okay, and then we'll put here dependency array. So the use effect will be reacting whenever the state changes. So we'll be reacting whenever the text changes, and also the other dependency whenever a message text changes, like this. Now when you will save it, both of your texts will be written, which is not good because we want to write only the response from the AI. So like what is Next.js? We don't want to have text written, but only the response from the AI. So this will fix very soon, but I want to continue elaborate more on this, how it's done, this writing. So basically what's happening here, as I mentioned, we have this empty string. I'll call it here, this empty string text, which we are displaying initially here, right? And we have this string, which is our answer, which is our getting complete answer here. So Next.js is something, blah, 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 the entire text. And here in the use effect, we are reacting to this. So use effect is called initially, and whenever the text value will change or message text value change. And here we are calling set timeout, which is called after 50 milliseconds. So after 50 milliseconds, I will start setting this empty text here. And I'm starting at the index of 0. So I'm cutting my original text up here. So starting at the index of 0. Indexing is like this. Each character in the string has also index. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on and so on. So I'm slicing this string at the index of 0. And I'm writing, I want to get one character, text length plus 1, and text length is initially empty string. So length is 0 plus 1 is 1. So I'm getting first character, and I'm writing it here to the text. Text value has changed, so use effect will be reacting by another call. So after 50 milliseconds, we'll call it again, set text, and we are getting slice again at the index of 0. So we're setting again at the index of 0. But now I'm slicing text length plus 1, which is text length. We have now n here, so length is already 1. So 1 plus 1 is 2. So I'm slicing 2 characters, ne, and writing ne. And after another 50 milliseconds, the same thing. Slicing again, but now we have a 2 length, 2 characters here, plus 1 is 3, so we are slicing 3 characters here. And this will continue like this until we get the entire string, and the text will be not longer changing, so use effect will be not called, but we'll get entire copy of the string here, and this will be displayed all here, and that's done. Okay, so that's how the slice works and the use effect and all together. Okay, but now we are facing the problem, right? Because we are also typing the human question, what is Next.js? Okay, that will be very simple to fix. Instead of providing here empty value of the string as you see here, provide here actually the entire value. So the text is already pre-filled. Don't start with the empty value, but just simply, don't start with the empty value here, but simply copy at the beginning here, whatever you have in the message text, copy it here. If the author is human. If the human is author, copy message text into the state, so you don't need to write it. Okay? Apologize. Okay, so here we'll remove the quotations and we'll write here if the message dot author is equal to human question mark, then provide the empty string value. Oh, not empty string. We want to already pre-filled values, so we need to provide the entire value. So message dot text. Otherwise, provide empty value. So we need to pre-fill the value. We need to write the value. So in the case the author is human, provide to the state value of the message text. So already pre-filled value. Don't need to write. It's pre-filled. When the author is AI, go with this and provide here the empty value, and we need to pre-fill it. Okay, that should work. So let's save this. We'll get back here. What is Next.js? Submit. You can see we are getting here immediately our question, and the answer from the AI we are getting in a written form, which is exactly what we wanted. Okay, so we are on a very good path. What will happen when I will actually write empty question? So nothing. Submit. As you can see, we are pushing here the human message, which is not good. When we are providing empty value here, we shouldn't push here really the human message, right? Because what's the reason to push here the empty message when we cannot get the answer, because we are getting the 400 status from the server, and we have get an invalid response. Basically we cannot get any response, so we don't want to spam here the messages on which we will not get any answers. So to handle this, let me look at it here in index.js. So here we are pushing the message regardless on even though we don't know what will be the response from the server. It can be okay, and then we will get answer, but this response here can be also not okay, and we'll get not any answer, but the empty message will be displayed regardless. So yeah, very simple thing here. You know what? Just simply write here if either we'll provide here if prompt trim length is equal to 0. Just simply written from here. Yeah. So it like this. There are many ways how can you solve this. I will go with a simple one. Just check it length already here. If it's 0, don't write anything. Okay. Don't even try to send a message or send a question to the server. So yeah, let's try it out. So write here empty. We won't get here anything. We need to ask the question, what is something? What is Next.js, and submit, and then we'll get the answer. Amazing. So far, we have been working super hard, super long on just preparing all of this. And now we need to integrate ChatGPT here. And you will be surprised. This will be the shortest part here. To integrate here, ChatGPT will be piece of cake. It will be very simple. First thing, we need to go to OpenAI documents. So just search here ChatGPT OpenAI docs, go to OpenAI chat completion OpenAI API. If you didn't sign up with OpenAI, you need to do it right now. So you need to click here, sign up, and you need to create your account. Either just provide email address or connect with a Google or a Microsoft account if you have. I will go to login and I will log in. So when your accounts are ready, we can log in together, okay? So stop the video whenever you're ready. Let's log in together. Okay. Log in, provide a password. Opa. And now, one thing, we need to set a payment method. You need to pay for this. It's not for free. Actually, let me show you. Go to personal, manage account, and go to usage. If you just registered with the ChatGPT, you should have here $20 credit for 1 month, which is for you. You can use the $20 for APIs, and yeah, you should see it here, $20 that there's some expiration dates that you can use. So instead of this usage here, you should see here a free credit or something like this. And in this case, you don't need to set up a payment method. ChatGPT API is set up. You will pay as you go. So as you will use the API of the ChatGPT, you will be paying. You can see how different amounts I was paying when I was testing this. It's not much, I can tell you right now, and it depends how many answers the questions you're asking. So you are paying basically for every token you are sending to the ChatGPT. So for example, my question, what is Next.js? What is Next.js? If I would send this question to the ChatGPT, and I would get the answer back from a ChatGPT like next is, and another 200 characters after that I would get. In ChatGPT, it's computed in a token. So you're paying for how many tokens you spend, but the token is not word. It's usually in some cases it is word, but the token can be chunk of the word. So, for example, token can be 1 token, this space can be 1 token, is can be 1 token, this can be 1 token, next can be 1 token, JS, and so on. Actually, it will be better to show you an example. But what I want to say, for example, in the question here, you will spend, let's say, 5 tokens. Here, as the answer, you will get answer of the 200 tokens, or 205. So here you have 5 tokens. You spend here 205. So in total, you spend 210 tokens, and you will pay for 210 tokens for this request to the OpenAI. And that will be just few cents. That will be really nothing. What you will pay for this here. That's really very, very cheap. What you will be paying here. But I want to get to the tokens, right? So I'll go to documentation for a short period. Just go to documentation and click start here, and you will see somewhere here tokens. I want to show you here somewhere. Scroll here, understanding tokens and probabilities. So see. Here, not each word is 1 token. So, for example, here you get this response from OpenAI, or you will write this as a prompt to OpenAI. But token is considered like this. So here is I is 1 token, have is 1 token, N is 1 token, orange is 1 token, cat named, and some foreign words, not very common words, are separated into multiple tokens. For example, butterscotch. Butterscotch is considered like 1 token, 2 tokens, 3 tokens, 4 tokens, and dot is the 5th token here. So that's a token. Usually, basically, as they are explaining down here, there is somewhere text how they're computing the token, so I cannot see it right now. Let me see it here. Pricing is pay as you go per 1,000 token. Okay, there's something I don't want to search. Here. 1 token is approximately 4 characters. 1 token, 4 characters, which is usually 0.75 words in English. So that's how you can compute it, how much tokens maybe you're spending or whatever you want to do with this information. Okay, I will be by the way, I'm not talking much about the ChatGPT, of the how it works, configuration of the model, and everything. This I have in my full course. You can find the link in the description. So let's continue. Let's go back to our account. As I told you, you have maybe free credit. Maybe you need to go to the billing and set up the account. The good thing about this is when you will go to usage limits, you can set up how much you want to spend per month. So here I set hard limit to $20 per month. If I will cross $20, I cannot spend any more dollars. And this also I cannot make any further requests to the OpenAI, to ChatGPT. So if I will spend more than $20, I am blocked for the month and I cannot send any longer any questions to ChatGPT through my API. Soft limit is the amount when you will cross, you will get warned by email. So if I will cross $15, I will get warned by email. They will send me email that I have crossed $15. So I'm notified about it, and maybe I can increase the limit here. Okay. So you can set up to whatever you want. Maybe $1 you want to spend. That's fine. The $1 is fine. We'll spend even less in this tutorial. We'll spend a few cents here. Maybe you want to spend $5. Set up $5 here. Up to you. Okay. So that's about the account, payments. And now we need to integrate the ChatGPT finally, right? So to our API route, we'll go to API keys, and we need to create an API key to connect to our API, so we can ask the question to GPT through our API. So we will need to create here a secret key. Never ever share the key with anybody. Never expose it into the files that will be in a GitHub repository or anywhere, because whoever has your key can use your API and can spend your limits and can spend your money. So don't do it. Create new secret key. I will call it admin key. Create it and copy it. Okay. Never share it. I will share it with you now, but I will remove it after. Okay. So copy this value. Perfect. And now let's go to your code. Create here env file. So somewhere down here in the root folder. Make sure it's in the root folder. Create here .env, and we'll paste this value. We'll call it OpenAI underscore secret underscore key, and we'll paste this value. Never ever share it. To prevent this to be pushed to GitHub repository, we will go to gitignore file, and as you will scroll down here, when you have env files, just include here also .env file, just to be sure that we'll not push it to GitHub repository. We'll be pushing our code. This should grade out this env file here. Okay, perfect. We're on a good steps. Now we can go to completion.js API route. Yeah, this video is getting quite long. What you say? They are almost done. Go back here, and we'll go now to documentation, and here you can click here libraries, and we need to install Python. Is a good thing. You want to work with the Python, but we need to install Node.js library and npm install OpenAI. So please copy this command. Go to the terminal, clear it out. I'm talking for a long time, and paste it here. Okay. You should get your water, I think. So let's paste it here. npm install OpenAI. Let's present there. This will install OpenAI. We'll start the server right after. So npm run dev. Okay, now we need to go back to our API route, and that's also what I learned from documentation of the OpenAI. We need to import here two things. Import here in the curly brackets. You will import configuration from OpenAI, and you will open here open. You'll get here OpenAI API, if I'm not wrong. To verify these things, you can just simply go back to browser, and you will go to quick start. You will scroll down here. Actually, not quick start. Quick start here. Yeah, you will need to import here actually, we could go to libraries back. Yeah, I don't know why I went back here to libraries, and here what we need. Good things I imported. Configuration OpenAI. You will create a configuration. Then you will create OpenAI with this configuration. And then you can connect to completion API through the OpenAI create completion function, and you will set up some values, and then you can get a response from the ChatGPT. Okay, so let's do it. Let's create a configuration. Let's create a configuration first. You will do it like this. const configuration equal new configuration. We'll provide your API key, which will be our secret key, so which you can get from the process.env how we are calling it. Go back to an env file, copy OpenAI secret key, so we'll get it from here. By the way, if you didn't restart your server after you added value to the env file, you maybe need to, not maybe, but you need to for sure restart your server. But we already restarted our server when we installed this dependency, OpenAI. So we should be fine. Okay, so we have a configuration. Now we'll create your OpenAI instance. So const OpenAI. And here we'll just need to call new OpenAI, and we'll provide your configuration. Actually, I forgot. Yeah, bad memory. So configuration. Yeah, just configuration. Yeah, it takes one parameter, configuration. So we'll remove this part here, this curly brackets, and pass your configuration. We have OpenAI and configuration. After here, other thing that we can do here, we can check if we are passing API key here in the request, or if not if we are passing, but if it's this process env OpenAI secret key is defined basically. Okay, and I will grab a water. Give me a second. Okay, that should be better. So here we want to verify if we specified actually in an env file our OpenAI secret key. So simply just write your if statement, and we'll check if we have a process.env OpenAI secret key. Okay. If it's not specified, so exclamation mark. If this process env OpenAI secret key, if we don't have this key, exclamation mark, return 500, right? So we'll write it, I'll copy it from here like this. Oops, I'll just simply paste it here. And I'll write your message. API key is not provided. API key is not provided, or secret key, or whatever I want to call this. Save it, and the only way to test it out actually, that is if statement will be called successfully, we need to do the following. Let's go to env file and let's rename the key for something else for a second. Let's add your underscore invalid like this, and we need to restart the server now. Go to terminal and restart the server. Okay, and let's understand the request now. So let's go to localhost 3000, open network tab if you want. Network, and just write here something, submit, and it should be 500, and API key is not provided. So yeah, so that's we are getting error which we wanted. Okay, that's verified. We can go back to our code, and we will call it not invalid but OpenAI secret key as it was initially. Now we need to go back to terminal, restart the server, and then pm run dev, and back to browsers. No, actually, back to code. And here in completion.js, after these two if statements, we can ask the question to ChatGPT. Okay, so right here, OpenAI, which we have up here, which we have configured, and create completion like this, curly brackets, and we'll specify here a couple of things. Model. And model, as you saw in the example, was DaVinci model, I think, here in the documentation, text DaVinci 003. There are multiple models, and each model is different, configured differently. Currently, the best one, at the time I'm recording, they're saying the text DaVinci 003 is the best model. What is good about this model? What's the bad thing about the model? Actually, I can show you on soon in the description, in the documentation. But each document has some strengths. Each model has some strengths and negatives. For example, how fast it can get your response. Some models takes longer time to get your response. Some models take you shorter time to get the response. But maybe in the longer time of the response, you can get a better answers. That's positive, but longer response is negative. So you can think that you can balance out the different models. You can decide what's better for you. Maybe some models are more creative, so they are creating the more creative answers. Some models are maybe more analytical and precise. So yeah, and you can play with these models actually here in a playground when you will go. When you will go to documentation and up here a playground, you can set up these models. You can see right here, model, and different models here, and you can read about them also here. Different models you can use, and also you can configure them in your code, right? And you can test it out here and write a question: what is Next.js? Question mark and submit, and yeah. That's right. That's quite wrong answer actually. I think the informations about the Next.js are all just yeah, and all these parameters that you see right on the right side, I will not go into the details that I'm explaining here. I have a full course about these parameters. Just know these. We are using this model, which is currently the best. Temperature, when the temperature is value from the 0 to 1, and 0 value, as you see here, the model is more deterministic. So you're getting the same answers all over again when you ask the question, and repetitive. But when you have value 1, the model is more random, you're more creative, you're getting more answers. And here maximum length is the length of the tokens. So when the length of the tokens is very short, for example, just 10 characters, and I will ask some question, the answer will be not completed even because I'm just allowing 10 tokens. So I'm getting like this is 10 tokens together with my question. So I will get more. So that's the maximum length of the tokens. Okay, and the temperature. So when I will get here to the 0, and I will ask here, write me 3 doc names starting on R. I will submit this, and we should get here Rex Roscoe Riley. I will remove the answer. I will again submit. Rex Roscoe Riley, third time. Submit. Rex Roscoe Riley. And I will change the temperature to 1 now, and I will get submit. I'm getting here Rover Rex Ranger, and I will remove it, and I will get the answer. Again, Rex Roscoe Ruddy. So I'm getting more random answers. You can see they are still static on R. They are more random. Now they're not deterministic with the value 0. So good is to have something value between, and depends on what you're expecting from your chatbot. Okay. So we have a model which is Text DaVinci. We can simply put the temperature, usually 0.7 should be fine. Then max tokens. And we can set up to the 1024 tokens. That will be the longest answer we can get. Okay, and I think that's okay for a beginning. That's, yeah, we don't need to set up more values. If you want to learn more values, as I mentioned, just check my course. Okay, so create completion, and we can store this completion here in a variable called completion const. And let's write here await, because it's asynchronous, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, it's getting promise back, so we need to write here await. It's complaining because you need to mark this function as asynchronous. So async here, async function handler. We are getting completion back, and finally I can remove this hard-coded response. And instead of the result here, we'll be providing here result of completion.data.choices. You will get the first choice, so the choice at the index of 0. And you will get here text, if I'm not wrong, text. And that's it. And that should be your answer from ChatGPT. And now we can try to verify it, right? So moment of truth. Verified everything is set up, that we have an OpenAI secret key. It's correctly in an env file. Save everything, restart the server if you didn't before. And we can check it out. So we can go back to our application. And we can ask a question. So what is Next.js? Submit. You see, we are waiting a little bit longer time now to get the answer. And will we get answer at all? Actually, that's a question also. So I can check my console. And I have here some error. Failed to load resource, response with the status 500. So something went really wrong here. I will ask again, submit. And pending 500. I will check the payload. Response. And the response is, unfortunately, we are getting something wrong here. And it doesn't even say what's so wrong here. Just that something is wrong. Okay, let me just check the documentation here for a second. I will go to documentation. Okay, I'll go to the libraries and I will verify if I provided everything. Max token. I am not asking anything to the ChatGPT. I didn't provide one most important thing, which is a prompt value here, and the prompt value is our question. So let's fix it. Get back here, and we need to provide here prompt. And the prompt we are already getting up here, right? So we have here a prompt, so we can just simply get it here. So save it up. Go back here. And let's try it out one more time. What is Next.js? Question mark, submit. Now I need to wait a little longer time for the answer. And again, what's happening here? Why it's again wrong? What is Next.js? Submit. Completion. Pending. 500. Response. Wrong. Thousands of errors. Okay. We are on a good track, but somewhere along here, create completion, we are getting something wrong. So let me check it one more time with the here. Model is OpenAI create completion. This is correct. We are configuring everything. Model say, you know what? Good thing that we are getting error actually. So let me show you one thing. This can fail as you saw now. So we will wrap it in a try block. Try. And in a catch, we'll get a usually error, right? So catch. And we'll move this here, copy it, and we'll move it in the try block to see what we are getting. And we'll also copy this, and this is the response you'll get here. And in the catch block, we'll return the error. So I'll copy some error, let's say up here. And here I'll be returning back error of our error message. And to see that we are getting error, I will just console log also here error message. And now maybe we can see. I hope I restarted my server, by the way. But yeah, let's see. Let's save it like this. Go back to browser. What is Next.js? Okay, but the request, as I see, find terminal and here. I had to cut a video because I wasn't sure where is the error coming from, but I just realized I'm doing quite a lot of things here wrong. In a create completion, as you see, all look good here. We are getting here, passing here a prompt, but we are getting up here temperature, but max tokens, it shouldn't be string. It should be number, 1024 like this. And I guess that will be the issue. So I will save it now. And we'll remove the console log from here. And let's save it, and now it should work. So we'll refresh here, and we'll write here, okay, what is Next.js? Question mark, submit, and now we should get the answer. You can see there's such a small issue, and it caused so many problems. And you can see now we are getting Next.js open source React framework for creating server-side rendered applications, and yeah, it works. So I'm pretty happy about it right now. Okay, so this answer is super slow, so let's increase it. Go to your index.js, and as we have here our typewriter here 50 milliseconds, I'll decrease it to 10 milliseconds. Now we should get there fast. Yeah, that's much better. What is a React.js component? Component question mark, submit, and we should get the answer of what is the React.js component. After a second, we can display some loader icon or something that we know that something is happening. But as you see, we are getting our answers, which is great, and that's what we wanted to see. Who are you? Okay, submit. Okay, I am a person who is interested in learning new things. Oh wow. Ah, what? Person. Okay, what is Vue.js? Submit. Okay, let's get some more answers. What is Vue.js? What is Svelte? By the way, I noticed one thing. We are not resetting our messages as we are clicking here submit. What is Svelte? Okay, one more question. What is Solid.js? Submit. Okay, and the last one. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we are getting all of the answers what we want. One thing, we are not clearing the question. So what is Next.js? As you see, submit, I'm not clearing up the question. That's one thing. It's very simple thing to fix. Let's do it right now. Let's go back to our code and completion here, index.js. And here as we are sending values, here. We are setting here a prompt to the empty string here. I think I'm not. I'm providing the value back to the text area, and actually, yeah, I'm resetting it. Yeah, I know what's happening because we are waiting for the response, and that's taking some time. So that's it. It looks like we are not resetting it immediately. So if you want to reset it immediately, just copy set prompt, remove it from here, and just move it up here somewhere. So set messages, and you can remove it before we'll ask the question, for example, like this. When you will move it here, let's get back here, and what is Next.js question mark submit. It will clear out immediately. Okay, and yeah, that should be it. You can improve with this as you want. You can do a couple of other things, improve user experience, and so on. Maybe one more thing I want to show you before we'll finish if you want. So we can provide also more context to your AI, and I show you how. I will go to the completion, and this prompt will writing here just a question. I'll write your function down here. I'll call it generate prompt like this. And here I will write const, let's write your message equal backticks. And here I'll provide more context to the ChatGPT. So I will write here, for example, I'll call, what I want to write. Your name is Henry, okay, and you are very friendly, and knowledgeable. That's how it's spelled, knowledgeable, or I'm wrong. Knowledgeable. Now let's see. Knowledgeable. No, it's a difficult word. Knowledgeable. Copy it. Okay, get back here. And knowledgeable AI. Your main field of knowledge, is programming, and you can write on new line. Your main field of knowledge is programming and computer sciences. Okay, and now, okay, that's some description about AI. And now I will write here my question. So I'll get here my question. So I will get here to the function. I'll write here my prompt, and I will write here human column dollars and curly brackets, and it will be my prompt. An answer from Henry will be down here. I'll write here Henry, and now when I will send a prompt like this to the ChatGPT, this will provide some context of to the ChatGPT what personality it should have, and this will provide here my question as a human, and I will get here from the Henry answer. So these fields here should be filled by Henry. It's something like this. I will copy this. I'll go to the playground up here. I'll paste it here. I can just format it a little bit. And here and here, and prompt I will remove. I will write here what is Next.js question mark and submit. Have some trailing spaces, by the way, here. Maybe I need to remove them. And yeah, but we are getting answers from a Henry. And I will write here, who are you? What is your name? What is your name? I have some spaces here, but I was complaining about some trailing spaces, maybe in the front here somewhere. Like this, I'll just write like this, submit. My name is Henry. You can see that there is more context to it, so it can react. Okay, back here. Here's our message. And the Henry answer will be here. So yeah, we have this general prompt, and up here, as we are providing the question, I'll write a column, and here will be generate prompt. I will provide here a prompt. Okay, let's save it up here, and what is a Next.js question mark submit. Let's wait for answer, and yeah, let's see. 10. No more errors, please. Yeah, it's waits a little bit more time to get out. Yeah, perfect. Okay. That was very creepy and very weird. Okay. Maybe I should format this. Okay, what is Next.js? Let's submit it one more time. And I want to see normal answer. You can see how long it was model was thinking about what it should provide. And that was definitely not friendly, OpenAI. Maybe you should trim the... let me see. I need to maybe format my prompt, and because it doesn't understand it. Let's remove it completely. Go back to your code, maybe. Oh, I know what happens. Generate prompt. We are not returning here any message. So that was an interesting question to see, but okay, let's return a message. That was very wrong. We didn't return any message to it. So we just provided this function here, and that was very interesting actually. So return here a message, save it, and get right here. What is Next.js ? Submit. Okay, and now maybe better answer. Yeah, that's better answer. Okay. Who are you? Who are you? ? Submit. I'm Henry. Perfect. Are you friendly? Friendly. ? Submit. And okay. Yeah. We got all answers we wanted. That's great, and that's your simple integration of ChatGPT with the Next.js. It was kind of interesting. I was improvising in lots of cases. I didn't have this material prepared beforehand. So yeah, I'm sorry if some places took longer or there are some explanations you are not sure about. But yeah, that's the integration. If you want to see the full explanation and full-length course with some quizzes and some code exercises, you can just check the description of the video, and you can find my full course about the ChatGPT and integration with the Next.js in the description. Thank you for watching. It is quite long video. Good job completing it, and I hope to see you around. Cheers.